Preps, welcome to Art. Today we are looking at the artwork of Mary Blair. Mary Blair was an American artist who created art and animation for the Walt Disney Company. She had a special focus on some of the most famous fairy tales such as Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan. Here are some examples of her artwork for Disney. Today we are making a drawing inspired by Mary Blair's fairy tale artwork and looking at her castle or small world artwork as inspiration. Notice how she has broken up her art into lots of smaller shapes. What shapes do you see? And what sort of colours? Today you will need paper and lots of drawing tools to make your artwork. So I've got my paper and I've got a texter to draw with. You can draw with a pencil if you like, and I've got lots and lots of drawing things, colouring, so I can finish it off at the end. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to think about the way that Mary Blair drew her picture. Now she used a whole lot of rectangles and she used squares. So I'm going to start at the base of my paper here and I'm going to start drawing a whole lot of rectangles, just like Mary Blair did. I'm going to come up. So I've got a rectangle and on top of that I might put a square. I'm going to draw another really big rectangle here and on top of that let's put another square. You can see how my castle is getting nice and tall. I'm going to draw another one. And on top of these I'm going to put some triangles. Just like on the top of a castle, I have lots of peaks. Okay, you might put windows in here later. Before I keep going, I'm going to put a big door here, just like Mary Blair did. I'm going to put this here. And on top of these, I'm going to do triangles again. Might even do some half circles, some semicircles just like Mary has. So I've got triangles, I've got semicircles, rectangles, some squares, and here I've got another semicircle, little circles in here as well. On top of my triangles here, I might include some flags because often when we've got castles, we have some flags. Now this is your fairy tale artwork, so it can be anything you like. Now, before we start colouring, I want you to fill all of these shapes with lots of patterns. Okay, we've looked at patterns, we've looked at straight lines, we've looked at zigzags, we've looked at wavy lines, dots. So I want there to be lots and lots of different shapes and patterns in here. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding shapes and patterns. Perhaps I've finished drawing and decorating my fairy tale castle inspired by Mary Blair. So I've got lots and lots of different lines. I've got shapes, so I've got in my picture I have semicircles, squares, rectangles, and I've got triangles. Okay, you might add circles, you might add even more difficult shapes. I would love to see a whole lot of different types, and inside those shapes, just like Mary Blair did, I have decorated using patterns. So I've got dots, I've got stripes. Now these are thick stripes and these are thin stripes, zigzags, our loop-de-loop, it almost looks like I'm writing an E constantly, slanted, curvy, wiggly lines, a combination of a wiggle and a dot, swirls, zigzags, and bigger dots. Now you can decorate any way you like, but notice how I've only stayed inside those shapes. I haven't gone all the way out, so be careful when you are decorating. And now I want you to add colour. Now Mary's work is so beautiful and bright, her castles, so let's start adding colour and be nice, neat and bright. Perhaps I have finished my Mary Blair fairy tale castle full of shapes and patterns, and I can't wait to see your final product. Make sure when you're colouring you stay in the lines. Occasionally I have accidentally come out, but I want to make sure that you take your time and try and stay in the lines as much as possible. I can't wait to see your final result. See you next week.